Hi everyone, Jill from the Northwoods. How are you doing? If you saw a live show, that got busted. I had a bad cable on my microphone and it was making everything staticky, and I replaced that. I'm sorry about that. So this is just a re-recording of the live show I did about an hour ago. So it's been a couple of exciting weeks since I saw you last. I hope you're doing well in your journey as well. When we left, essentially, I was having low blood sugar problems, and the doctor, I just talked to the doctor, and he wanted me to go on a 2-week washout because I started to drop in dose, right? So I went from 10.0 or 12.5 to 10.0 to 7.5, and now my blood sugar is low, chronically low. I can't do anything to get it up. So the doctor's like, let's just take a break off of Mounjaro for 2 weeks, and then we'll start you back up at 2.5. Well, a couple of interesting things happened along the way is that, first of all, it didn't get better. In fact, it was getting worse all the time, and there was nothing I could do to get it to go better. The other thing is my pharmacy was not filling my prescription. I don't know what happened in it. It was really weird, and I talked to my doctor about it as part of this process, and I think he fixed whatever was going on and what was happening that was wrong, because then it got filled right away. So I don't think it's a shortage. I think there was maybe some sort of a paperwork thing going on. But anyway, so I haven't been on Mounjaro for now 4.5 weeks. So that means it's out of my blood completely. And, to be honest with you, I'm doing really well with it. But I was very worried about this low blood sugar. And in fact, what was even getting a little bit more scary about it is the numbers were getting much, much worse. I still felt fine. And I just couldn't figure it out. So then I started on this whole streak over the last couple of weeks. I would eat snacks. I would eat high protein snacks. I would eat high carb snacks. I would eat a mixture of all of those above. I would start waking up in the middle of the night trying to eat a snack to see if I could get it to be better at all. I mean, I just tried everything. I said, well, what if I just ate an old-fashioned meal like I used to have? Great. I made a steak and rice, and I had a big bowl of rice for dinner. And I tested my blood sugar that night, 59. And I'm like, I can't even eat a gigantic meal and have this get fixed. And, so I was just trying to research, and people were saying, well, if you lose weight, your body just kind of out of whack for a while and it'll adjust eventually and it'll be fine. And part of my worry about it was because that optic nerve swelling, which I still have to go back to the doctor for in May, comes because your blood sugar is out of whack. And so I thought, what if I'm just going to make my eyeball worse, by doing this? And so I was a little bit concerned about that particular way too. You just named it. I tried everything. It was funny. I even tried taking 2 tablespoons of cornstarch before bed. So cornstarch, as it turns out, is pure carbs, but it's harder for the body to digest. And so your body just sort of chews on it for a while. I guess a lot of the glucose pills, overnight glucose pills, are of some part made of cornstarch. You should talk to your doctor if you're interested in it. But essentially, it's another way of getting like a slow sugar into you. Nothing worked. Fruit, you name it, it just didn't even work. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is just getting terrible. And so I was at a training last week for work, and I was at this company that is sort of famous for having this very fancy cafeteria inside of the corporate training area. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to try to just eat whatever I want. I am going to try to have like a 2,000 calorie day, which I haven't done in years, every day of this week because I'm eating in this cafeteria. So the first day came about, and that was last Tuesday. I ate at the cafeteria, knocked out a 2,000 calorie day. You name it, I ate it. I had a cookie. It was the first cookie I had in a long time. It's still good food. I had protein. I had a mix of things. I didn't, other than the cookie, I didn't plow into the bread aisle or anything like that, but I ate a lot of food, a lot more, thinking that has to help. Went and took my blood sugar about 5 hours after my lunch meal, and my blood sugar was 59. And I thought, oh my gosh, this can't even be right. This can't even be right. And so I thought, wait a minute. What if this blood glucose monitor is broken and doesn't work? So I first started doing a bunch of experiments and found out that my blood sugar is 20 points lower in my right hand than it is in my left hand. I have no idea why. So, it's probably a circulation thing. So, something suggested, like, can you tell if one hand's colder than the other? No, not really. So I don't know what that is, but it's true. So that was part of it. But then I went out and I went to CVS, bought a $30 blood glucose tester and tried it, and my blood sugar was fine. It was fine. And it was appropriate for all those calories I ate during the day. Took it the next morning, 89. Took it the next morning, 85. I am actually in the low 80s now, all the time, every day, and that's perfectly fine. I'm like, oh my goodness. So all this time, my blood sugar was low, first of all, because I was doing it in my right hand, and secondly, because the meter itself was low by about 14 points. So my blood sugar's fine. It probably always has been fine, but it also makes me wonder, back when I was diabetic, was it much worse than I really thought about it? The interesting thing is when I was, finding out about like that I had a diabetic retinopathy in my eyeball, I thought I was barely diabetic. I was barely diabetic. How do I have all these side effects with it when my diabetes wasn't that bad? And you know what? It maybe was worse because maybe I was taking it in my right hand, and also I was using I actually had two of the same brand glucose meters, and none of them were giving me a right reading. Oh no. So I'm not having blood sugar in the 50s. I'm not having severe blood sugar at all. Everything is totally fine. I just was, and like I said, I wasn't even having side effects. There were no side effects in any of this. I felt fine all the time. Maybe I go to the gym and I ate a light breakfast, I get a little bit like, oh, I kind of need a snack, but not like, heart palpitations, cold sweats. All these things that were going on, I didn't have any of that. And the worst part, I think the part that makes me mad about it all is that I'm sitting there eating a 200 to 500 calorie snack every night, trying to get my blood sugar up. And now I'm like starting to put on weight because of it for meals that I'm not hungry. And I'm like, this is so, and that's why I actually, before that, I contacted my doctor. I said, this is so counter helpful because I'm trying to keep this weight off, and yet I'm supposed to be eating this snack and that snack and keeping my blood sugar up. This is killing off all the gains. It's not all the gains, but it's killing off the gains that I had made, and now I'm having to eat all these snacks. Oh no. So anyway, so I've been off of Mounjaro now for almost 6 weeks, and I feel pretty darn good. My heart rate variability came back up. I started out when I was overweight and diabetic somewhere in the 20s. It was really terrible. And then as I lost weight, it moved up into the 30s. Now I'm somewhere in the 50s, which is pretty darn good for someone my age. My heart rate dropped back down to my normal resting heart rate and went below. So before, my resting heart rate used to be 62, and now I'm somewhere in like 52. I feel good. I have energy. And I was just worried about my blood sugar because I was also like exercising at night, and it was causing my blood sugar to dip. And I'm like, oh gosh. So really, things are going very well. Now my prescription finally got filled, and so I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do about that. My doctor would like me to take it, but honestly, I am off of Mounjaro and my blood sugar is fine, which means my body took over all the effort to regulate my blood sugar, and it's doing fine. I'm not having food noise or cravings, and I think it's primarily because in the last 18 months, I have broken my habits entirely. And it didn't sit there either sort of, oh, I can't wait for the day I can have a big greasy hamburger. I didn't dream about food. I tried very hard not to. I wanted new habits in my life. And so I took this opportunity to make those habits solid, get my exercise solid, get everything in place. So by the time I get done with this drug, I'm in a really good place. And I think it has paid off because I am in a really good place. I don't have Diet Coke cravings, and I'm really good right now. And so now it's sort of thinking, do I really need to go back on this drug? Now, part of me has in the back of my head the fact that I still have 25 pounds to lose. Is it possible that if I take a break from Mounjaro, which I already have now, and then go back on it, will the lower dose help me to lose weight again? Most people are of the opinion that there's no way that you can reset your Mounjaro levels again. That if I wanted to continue for Mounjaro to help me lose weight, I would have to zip back up to 12.5 and then finish this off. I don't really want to do that. I didn't feel great on the drug when I was at that level. So will 2.5 just help me to a little bit to lose weight, and then I can take it from here on my own plan? I just don't even know what it is. And I decided to just wait one more week. Let's just see how Jill is. How does Jill feel? Sorry about talking about myself in third person, but you know what I mean? What am I right now that I'm down in weight? I'm no longer on Mounjaro. What does that look like? What does my blood sugar look like? How do I feel? How can I actually, now that I'm not taking midnight snacks, lose some weight or, just sort of regulate and stay up? I did notice that when I was dropping in dosage, every time I would drop a dose, I would immediately gain like a pound or two extra. And then after a while, it would stabilize and then come back off again. So I'm just kind of interested in who I am right now without the drug. So I'm going to give it another week, and then I'll probably go back on the 2.5 and just see if that can't help me do something. Can it help me to continue to lose weight or keep this weight off? Or will it drop my blood sugar if I'm on 2.5 milligrams because my blood sugar is perfectly fine now? I don't really know what the answer to that is, but essentially, I'm going to try it for a little bit and then just decide whether or not I'm going to stay on it or I'm just going to quit entirely. But right now, I feel pretty darn good. And like I said, I don't feel like anything adverse or bad is happening to me right now. So we'll see how it goes. And like I said, I just sort of getting a benchmark right now about where I am in this whole piece of things. But I feel in control. I was in a cafeteria that offered gourmet food all day long in every format, between the chicken or the fish or the bread or the desserts, and I stayed in control. I didn't let it take over my life. I watched what I ate very carefully and had ChatGPT analyze my food, and I'm good. I feel like it's really, really good right now, and I feel like my habits that I formed all this time are paying off right now. So I hope that helps you too. You can let me know how you're doing with your walk in all this. I appreciate you being out there. If you're on maintenance, if you're having any kind of struggles, I'd love to hear from you. I appreciate you being out there, and you can email me at jill@startwithsmallsteps.com, or you can leave a comment right here. Thanks so much and have a great day.